The first time I noticed it, I blamed the garden. It had been a long weekend of pulling weeds from the overgrown backyard, digging up the stubborn roots of forgotten shrubs, and trying to bring life back into the cracked earth. So when I woke up Monday morning with dirt caked beneath, my fingernails and the smell of soil still clinging to my skin, I didn't think much of it. But then it happened again, and again. By Thursday, my nails were stained black when I hadn't stepped outside in 2 days. The soil wasn't like the backyard's, it was darker, damper, rich with the scent of something older. I scrubbed my hands raw that morning, shaking off a strange sense of dread that clung to my spine like fog. That night, I set an alarm for 2 a.m. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I lay in bed, every muscle tight, blankets pulled up to my chest as if they could shield me from whatever truth was creeping in the shadows of my mind. When the alarm finally rang, I sat up instantly and looked at my hands. Clean, but my window was open, and there were muddy footprints on the floor. I didn't live with anyone else. The lock on the front door was still bolted. The only key to the side gate hung where it always did, next to the fridge. I stood over the footprints in silence, each print a distorted echo of my own feet, smaller, more delicate but unmistakably mine. That morning, I checked the backyard. A shallow hole had been dug beneath the elm tree. I had no memory of digging it, no reason to, but the spade leaned against the tree like someone had used it and forgotten to put it back. I started recording myself at night. I bought a cheap camera and pointed it at my bed. When I watched the footage the next day, my stomach turned cold. At 3:12 a.m., I sat up in bed with eyes wide open, expressionless. Then I stood, walked stiffly to the door, and left the room. I was gone for exactly 47 minutes. When I returned, I crawled into bed, lay down, and closed my eyes. The next morning, I found soil under my fingernails again. But this time, there was something else. A tiny splinter of wood, nearly black, jammed beneath my right thumbnail. It smelled like rot. I spent the entire day trying not to look at my hands. The splinter was still there, embedded deep, and the more I stared at it, the more it seemed wrong. It wasn't just wood, it was ancient, brittle but heavy, like it had soaked up centuries of rain and silence. I didn't dare pull it out. I was afraid of what I might find underneath. That evening, I skipped dinner. I couldn't eat. My appetite had been shrinking ever since the first morning I woke up dirty. There was a pressure building in my chest, like something was trying to get out, or maybe trying to get in. I almost didn't set up the camera again that night. A part of me didn't want to know, but curiosity is louder than fear when you're alone. I placed the camera in the same spot, checked the battery twice, and forced myself into bed. I left the curtains open this time, the full moon flooding the room with a cold, pale light. I woke up screaming. My throat was raw like I'd been yelling for hours. My sheets were shredded, ripped to pieces as if by claws or frantic hands. My nails, what was left of them, were chipped and cracked, ringed in dark earth and something sticky. There were scratches on the floor, deep ones, carved in long arcs from the foot of the bed to the window. I crawled toward the camera on my knees, heart hammering, and pressed play. The footage started normally. I shifted in bed. I turned once, twice, then at 3:07 a.m., I bolted upright, like I'd been yanked by invisible strings. My head tilted slowly, unnaturally, as if listening to something just beyond human hearing. Then I whispered a name. At least I think it was a name. The audio cracked as I spoke it, and even though I replayed the clip over and over, I couldn't make out the word. It sounded old, foreign, wet somehow. Then I smiled, a wide, crooked smile that stretched too far. I climbed out of bed and moved to the window. But this time I didn't just leave. I crawled out headfirst, like an animal. The video ended. Outside, beneath the elm tree, the shallow hole was now a deep pit. A second one had been started beside it, and both were just my size. I didn't sleep the next night. Instead, I sat in the kitchen with every light in the house turned on. I held a knife in my hand, not because I believed it would help, but because it made me feel human, awake, in control. At 2:59 a.m., the power went out. Not flickered, not dimmed, just gone. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It felt occupied, like something was standing just beyond the doorway, watching, waiting. I couldn't move. My body had turned to ice, my limbs too heavy to lift. Then I heard the front door unlock. Not break open, unlock. Deliberately, smoothly. I don't remember standing up, or walking toward it, or opening the door myself. But I did. The air outside smelled like fresh earth and old graves. The moon had vanished behind thick clouds, but I could still make out the figure beneath the elm tree. She was waiting, half buried in the first pit I'd dug. Her arms were outstretched, nails black with dirt. Her mouth open in a wide, silent scream. She looked exactly like me, The second pit was finished now. I stepped into it. I remember lying down. I remember the cold touch of soil as it began to fall on my chest, though I'm not sure if it came from the sky or my own hands. I remember whispering that same impossible word I'd said in the video, and I remember the last thing I saw. Her face, my face, smiling down at me with empty eyes. They say I was found the next morning, curled up in my bed, nails clean, the camera untouched, no footage, no footprints, no pits in the yard. But sometimes when it rains and the earth softens, I wake up choking on dirt, and my fingernails are full of soil again.